Good evening, and welcome to the Adult Summer Reading Showcase 2025. We are so excited to have you here as we kick off an unforgettable summer of stories, inspiration, and community fun. I am Rohini Gupta, Adult Learning and Innovation Specialist. This year is extra special because we are celebrating 85 incredible years of Howard County Library System. And what better way to honor that legacy than with amazing books and a reading adventure we can all share. Today, our fantastic HCLS instructors are ready to wow you with top fiction and nonfiction picks, walk you through this year's summer reading list, and show you how to jump into summer reading competition. And don't be shy. Ask questions anytime. Whether you're a lifelong reader or just getting started, we are so glad you're here. Let's make this summer one for the books. And let's get started. Next slide, Zinka. Thank you. This is the fourth year of our beloved Museum at the Library series. Shout out to Wendy for her incredible support. This program has brought art and culture to life through our online sessions. Now, for the first time ever, we are gathering in person for a truly unique experience. On June 18th at 1:30 p.m. at Miller, we are thrilled to welcome docent Laura Proven from the National Museum of Women in the Arts. She will be guiding us through an eye-opening and interactive session that explores motherhood, but with a surprising and thought-provoking twist. This is your chance to ask questions, share your thoughts, and connect directly with an expert in the field. Mark the date, June 18th, 1:30 p.m. at Miller. And another first, stay tuned for Howard County's first ever adult Battle of the Books. This book trivia contest happens in October this year. Team registration will open on June 15th, and the rules as well as the book list will be revealed then. To participate, teams of 3 to 5 people would read 6 books over summer and meet for a trivia competition in October. This is a fundraiser for the Friends of the Library and a ticketed event. The follow-up email after this event is over will include a link where you can get more information on both of these events.
Thank you, Zinka. Thank you, Rohini, for that great introduction to our event this evening. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me. My name is Stevia Morales, and I am the branch manager at the Central Branch. And I am also coordinating our summer reading adventures for the system. And if you participated in our adult reading challenge last year, you will already know the format. It is very similar, but we are back with some exciting new books and unique challenges. So you can pick up one of these beautiful limited edition reading journals at any of our 6 branches. You can choose from 14 unique challenges inside of the journal, and all you have to do is complete 3 or more challenges by the end of August, or read 3 or more books of your own choosing. You could read anything you like. Bring that journal back to us in one of our branches and complete a finisher's card and be entered into some prize drawings. All finishers also receive a limited edition prize, and we have some fantastic stuff for you this year. You can also use your journal to continue inspiring and tracking your reading. It's not just for summer. You can go beyond summer, especially if you don't fill up the entire journal. So you can use it to inspire more reading as you move throughout the year. Other than adult summer reading, we also have another challenge on the next slide, our Beyond Words Summer Reading Adventure Challenge. This is new to HCLS this year. And I'll show it to you now. It's a beautiful journal. Thank you, Zinka. So this is new to HELS this year. You can also pick up one of these limited edition reading journals in one of our 6 branches. And it is carefully designed with some very thoughtful feedback from our Beyond Word participants, parents, and caregivers. And Beyond Words is a program and the summer reading challenge that is designed specifically for adults and teens with intellectual and developmental disabilities. The activities in the journal mirror the goals of the stations that participants would use in our Beyond Words activities. And again, you can use the journal to continue inspiring and tracking your reading all summer long and beyond. I've talked to you a little bit about the challenges, and now I'm going to turn it over to Angela, who will talk about our summer reading book list.
Thank you, Stevia. Hi, my name is Angela Best, and I'm the Assistant Branch Manager at the Central Branch. My pronouns are she, her. Our adult summer reading list is composed of titles acquired between April 2024 and April this year. There's at least one copy of each title at all of our 6 branches. For the first time this year, additional book recommendations can be accessed at the shortened bit.ly web address found at the beginning of the list, namely bit.ly/ASR-25. It's on the list at the very top. The list, book club tips, and more are available on the library's website, hclibrary.org. This evening's presentation will consist of 4 rounds. In the first 3 rounds, we will each present a title from the 2025 Adult Summer Reading List. The 4th round is our wild card round, and we'll present any book from our vast collection, whether it's on this year's Adult Summer Reading List or not. Each book recommendation will start with the title, then we'll state the author's name and whether it's a fiction title or nonfiction title. We will also highlight adult summer classes and events across the HCLS system, starting with the 2 that Rohini mentioned at the very beginning. The adult summer reading list, along with a list of all the classes and events presented this evening, will be sent to you tomorrow by email. As a special appreciation, all in attendance this evening will be entered into a drawing for a bundle of 3 of these VIP deck tickets to Merriweather Post Pavilion. You must have a ticket for the event you are attending for the VIP deck tickets to be valid. The winner will be contacted via email next week. And now, round 1 of our evening. Stevia, over to you.
Yay, back to me. I'm so excited to start us off. My first book for you is We Love the Nightlife by Rachel Kohler Craft Fiction. Romance, nightlife, and vampires. What more could you want in a book? This book is for all the fans of Twilight who are grown up now and want a book that's a little bit more mature. We Love the Nightlife is set in 1979 London, where disco is in, and so is the vampire scene. This story centers around Nicola, a brooding and British vampire who sweeps the naive American, Amber, off her feet when they meet on the dance floor, convincing her that becoming immortal and subtracting the husband that Amber moved across the pond for from the equation. After her ex-husband's mysterious death, Amber grows suspicious of Nicola, slowly realizing that their love story isn't as spontaneous as it seemed at first. Secret plots and secret pasts plague our characters, and as Amber seeks a way out of her union, Nicola's grip gets tighter and tighter. Read on to discover more about Nicola's past, Amber's grasp for independence, and answer the age-old question: would you consider trading humanity to become a creature of the night? We Love the Nightlife by Rachel Kohler Craft.
Hello, everyone. My name is Wendy Camisar, Instructor and Research Specialist at the Central Branch. And my first pick is Wanted, Toddler's Personal Assistant: How Nannying for the 1% Taught Me About the Myths of Equality, Motherhood, and Upward Mobility in America by Stephanie Kaiser, nonfiction. Ever wonder how the 1% live? where toddlers have gluten-free meal plans and certain celebs skip the school pickup line. Stephanie Kaiser serves up a hilariously sharp and deeply human memoir about life behind the velvet stroller ropes. Think The Nanny Diaries meets The Devil Wears Pull-Ups. With wit, grit, and just the right dose of heartbreak, Kaiser lifts the curtain on what it means to chase the American dream. It's a tale of diaper duty meets social disparity, of love for children in a world that treats its caregivers like invisible help. Take a peek into a world of privilege, parenting, and personal revelations. Bittersweet and brutally honest. Wanted, Toddler's Personal Assistant by Stephanie Kaiser.
Hi, I'm Nancy, and I'm an instructor and research specialist at East Columbia. My first pick is 3 Days in June by Ann Tyler, fiction. Gail Baines is 61, newly unemployed, and is about to host her ex-husband, plus his cat, for the weekend of their daughter's wedding. As the big day looms, buried secrets and unexpected guests threaten to unravel everything, including Gail's hard-won peace. Ann Tyler brings her signature warmth, wit, and insight into this delightful novel about second chances, tangled family ties, and the quiet courage it takes to start over. 3 Days in June is perfect for fans of character-driven stories with humor, heart, and just the right amount of chaos. Did I mention it's also set in Baltimore? It is a perfect summer read. 3 Days in June by Ann Tyler.
Hi, everybody. My name is Emily Bell. I'm an instructor and research specialist here at the Central Branch. My pronouns are she, her. And my first pick is Deep Cuts by Holly Brickley, fiction. The year is 2000 and the fall semester at Berkeley is just underway. Two strangers in a bar are deep in conversation, analyzing Sarah's Smile by Hall & Oates. Percy and Joe have only just met, but instantly bond over their passion for music. From this conversation, a creative partnership spawns, propelling one of the pair towards indie rock stardom, while the other is left to reckon with their own ambitions. Think Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow meets Daisy Jones and the Six. And though it's only her debut, Brickley has done a fantastic job of cultivating such a deep sense of place. A major reason for that is her incorporation of music. So each chapter is named after a song encountered by our characters. Some are more mainstream than others. I definitely recommend finding a playlist featuring these songs because if you listen to it while you're reading, you really get to immerse yourself in the music that shapes these characters. And you might even discover some new tracks. Perfect for music fans, I highly recommend Deep Cuts by Holly Brickley. And speaking of music, if you'd like to make or record some of your own, you can visit the Savage Branch every Monday from 6 to 8 p.m. for their open AV lab and creativity space. June is actually Music Month, so they are inviting producers, musicians, vocalists of all skill levels to make use of their audio recording booth, instruments, and audio editing software.
Hello, my name is Robert. I am an instructor and research specialist at the Glenwood branch. My first choice is Safe Enough by Lee Child, fiction. From the author of the Reacher series comes a collection of 20 short stories. They contain the twists and turns of stories about people on both sides of the law. Safe Enough is a short story about a man named Wolf who notices a woman named Mary Lavelle. Mary's husband disappears and a police suspect foul play. Did Wolf see what happened? Would he protect Mary? Read this story to find out. I heard a romantic story begins. I heard a romantic story. It was while I was waiting to kill a guy, and not just a guy, by the way. They were calling this guy a prince, and I guess he was. Read this story to find out what the hitman heard and what happened to the prince he was hired to kill. And read the other stories in the collection to meet cops and bodyguards, conmen and hitmen, and see if people are safe enough or not quite safe. Safe Enough by Lee Child.
Hello, I'm Roslyn, and I'm an instructor and research specialist at the Central Branch. My first pick is How to Age Disgracefully by Claire Pooley,
fiction. Daphne is a 70-year-old English loner who, on her birthday, decides to step out of her comfort zone and join a senior citizens club. There, she meets a motley crew of characters, like Lydia, a woman navigating midlife changes, Art, a former actor with a petty theft hobby, Ziggy, a 17-year-old single father, and even a dog named Maggie Thatcher. Together, they embark on a series of humorous and heartfelt adventures to prevent the closing of their community center, all while confronting personal secrets and embracing second chances. For readers seeking a witty and uplifting story that challenges societal norms and celebrates the vibrancy of life, this book is for you. How to Age Disgracefully, Claire Pooley. What hidden stories lie beneath old paintings, worn jewelry, or faded maps? Join us as we uncover how archaeology, historical records, and archives can reveal the rich and often surprising lives of those who came before us. In this engaging class, Ann Bennett, Executive Director of the Howard County Historical Society, will show how everyday objects and long-forgotten documents can bring the past to life and offer a deeper understanding of the community we call home. Don't miss Using Archaeology to Bring Local History to Life on August 16th at our Miller branch.
Hello, my name is Amy. I'm an instructor and research specialist at the Central Branch. My first pick is The Witches of El Paso by Luis Jaramillo, fiction. The Witches of El Paso is a magical realism novel that follows two characters, a young girl, Nena, in 1943 El Paso, Texas, who experiences premonitions and fainting spells, which are actually the manifestations of growing magical abilities, and her grandniece Marta in the present day, who struggles to balance her legal career with the care of her family, which now includes a 93-year-old Nena. When Marta agrees to help her great aunt find a lost daughter who Nena unbelievably claims to have left behind in the past, she learns about the power of love, family, and the magic that lives not only within herself, but also in the world all around us. The Witches of El Paso by Luis Jaramillo.
Well, hello again. My first book is The Last One at the Wedding by Jason Rekulak, fiction. This is one of those hold on to your seat type of books. Frank is a UPS driver who has been estranged from his daughter. Out of the blue, after 3 years, his daughter Maggie contacts him and asks him to walk her down the aisle. Elated, he accepts. What can possibly go wrong? At first, it is a case of us versus them. He wonders if his daughter, who works for a tech startup, will be comfortable marrying into an ultra-rich family. Then he makes some uncomfortable discoveries. And then there are bodies. Yes, bodies, plural, with an S. If you want a book that you can't wait to get back to see what happens next at this 3-day wedding extravaganza, then The Last One at the Wedding by Jason Rekulak is for you.
And closing our first round is my pick. My name is Ash Baker. I'm an instructor and research specialist at the Central Branch. My pronouns are they, them. And my first title is Water Moon by Samantha Soto Yambao. For generation, the duties of Hana's family has been running an otherworldly pawn shop that humans magically stumble into when burdened with regret. Her whole life, her father has been responsible for making deals with these customers and guarding the choices that they pawn over. When she wakes up to a ransacked shop, a stolen choice, and a missing father, Hana is stunned, and even more so when a young human physicist, Kay, wanders into the shop. And instead of becoming a client of hers, he stubbornly insists on helping her find her father. Together, they embark on a quest through surreal lands to find Hana's father and truths they would have never expected about each other and themselves. I was drawn to Water Moon because of reviews comparing it to Studio Ghibli movies, and I was not let down in that regard. It very much has that sort of surreal, whimsical Miyazaki sort of feel to it, and I would love to see this book animated someday. As a hopeless romantic, I also enjoyed the relationship that develops between Hana and Kei. Hayao Miyazaki has said that he aims to portray a true expression of love in his work through relationships where the two mutually inspire each other to live. And I feel like that was really represented in the relationship between these two. An imaginative blend of gentle fantasy and slow burn romance, this is a really sweet story, perfect to read at dusk, ideally with a cup of tea or a bowl of ramen. Water Moon by Samantha Soto Yambao. That concludes our first round. Now we are going to circle all the way back, starting with Stevia again.
Hello, everyone. My second choice is The Book of Elsewhere by China Miéville and Keanu Reeves. So I am not the biggest fan of speculative fiction, and if we are anything alike, please don't let the genre of this book scare you. This book is such a fantastic read and follows the stuff of myth, legends, and all things mystical. The Book of Elsewhere is inspired by the world of Berserker, Keanu Reeves' best-selling graphic novels. The story follows B, the only one of his kind who over centuries has been called Death himself. B is a warrior who, despite dying several times over the thousands of years he's been alive, he always returns. But all he wants to do is be able to die. In the present day, B is working with a US Black Ops team who promise him that they can make his wish a reality. And of course, they will use him for their own devices. When B and his team are out on a routine mission, something unexpected happens. Another soldier returns to life after suffering a gruesome injury. As B struggles to find answers to this mystery, we catch glimpses of his past lives, shedding light on humans' constant struggle with death and immortality, and we find that there are much bigger forces at work in this world. See Keanu Reeves' character come to life in this highly intelligent, but also massively weird work of fiction. The Book of Elsewhere by China Miéville and Keanu Reeves.
This Motherless Land by Nikki May, fiction. Okay, so imagine you're juggling grief, secrets, and enough emotional baggage to fill Heathrow Airport and still manage to look fabulous. That's the vibe in this Nigerian/English, very loose retelling of Jane Austen's Mansfield Park, but with teeth and a much bigger bite. It's scandals, secrets, ambition, and betrayal, woven into a tapestry of identity and belonging. Jane Austen's decorum meets generational trauma, and the result? An emotional and messy exploration of what happens when home isn't where the heart is, but where the hurt was. If you like tons of family drama, fierce women, and a plot that hits you harder than your auntie's side eye at the dinner table, this one's for you. This Motherless Land by Nikki May. Step into history and experience the powerful journey of Harriet Tubman with Linda Harris, Director of Events at the Harriet Tubman Museum in Cambridge, Maryland, as she brings Tubman's legacy to life with traditional songs, modern melodies, and captivating narration. Discover the Underground Railroad like never before. Learn more at harriettubmanmuseumcenter.org.
Hi, my second pick is Our Evenings by Alan Hollinghurst, fiction. This is a lush, reflective novel that follows Dave Wynn, a gay biracial actor, as he journeys through decades of personal and cultural change in England, beginning in the swinging 60s and ending in the isolation of the pandemic. Framed as a fictional memoir, Dave's story unfolds with wry insight and emotional depth, from his scholarship to an elite boarding school to his tumultuous career in experimental theater. Along the way, he grapples with fame, heartbreak, and the long shadow of his unconventional mother. Hollinghurst's prose is elegant and razor sharp, exploring themes of identity, privilege, and queer life across generations. This novel has been called Hollinghurst's best novel yet, and it is ideal for readers who crave richly drawn characters, layered storytelling, and the quiet drama of a fully lived life. It is a beautiful novel, perfect to enjoy with a cup of tea on a rainy day. Our Evenings by Alan Hollinghurst.
All right, my second pick is Cue the Sun, The Invention of Reality TV by Emily Nussbaum, nonfiction. Everybody, drop your buffs. Smile, you're on candid camera. Will you accept this rose? Chances are some of these catchphrases popularized by reality TV might sound familiar. For better or worse, unscripted shows are an essential part of pop culture today. But how did we get here? Pulitzer Prize winning critic Emily Nussbaum guides us through a definitive history of the misunderstood genre, from its humble origins in the 40s, when popular radio shows like Candid Microphone made the leap to TV, to present day where shows like Survivor, RuPaul's Drag Race, and Real Housewives are cultural mainstays. While it's quite easy to cast off reality TV as trashy, Nussbaum instead paints a balanced portrait. She gets behind the scenes insight from the show creators, crew members, and participants who created the genre from the ground up. I particularly enjoy the retrospective on PBS's An American Family. It aired in the 70s and is widely considered to be the first true reality show. It also happened to star Lance Loud, who is considered the first openly gay man to be on television. So for pop culture junkies, this is a deep dive you won't want to miss. Cue the Sun by Emily Nussbaum.
My next book is All This and More by Pink Shepherd, fiction. Marcia is given an opportunity of a lifetime. She can be a contestant on All This and More, a reality TV show that bends reality by the choices of the contestant. Talia Cruz was a contestant in the first season, but when they tried a second season, something went wrong and it was never shown. Now Marcia is given a chance. Talia will be her guide. She has a season to alter her reality that works on quantum physics and find the perfect life. But as Marsh gets further in the season, there are things that don't seem right to her. A pet keeps changing. Chrysalis appears in each scene. Will Marsh be able to figure it out and get the perfect life? Will the reader be able to help? In a style like Choose Your Own Adventure, the reader is given a chance throughout the book to make decisions for Marsh. Can you help Marsh to survive till the end and get the happy ending? Read all this and more to find out. My class is History Relived, 75th Anniversary of the Korean War on June 10th, 11 to 12 at the Glenwood branch. The Korean War was an armed conflict on the Korean Peninsula fought between North Korea and South Korea and their allies. North Korea was supported by the People's Republic of China and the Soviet Union, while South Korea was supported by the United Nations Command led by the United States. The conflict was one of the first major proxy wars of the Cold War. Fighting ended in 1953 with an armistice, but no peace treaty, leading to the ongoing Korean conflict. Come join an informal discussion of the events and how it shaped time then and how it shaped it in the future. Come to History Relive 75th Anniversary of the Korean War, June 10th, 11 to 12.
Funny Story by Emily Henry, fiction. Daphne always plays it safe until her fiance, Peter, dumps her for his childhood best friend, Petra. Left reeling in a new town where she knows no one, Daphne finds herself with an unlikely roommate, Petra's ex, Miles, who is her complete opposite, carefree, charming, and totally unpredictable. Determined to move on, Daphne and Miles fake a budding romance to convince their mutual acquaintances and themselves that they're so over their exes. But of course, what starts as a joke becomes all too real. Funny Story is a charming, laugh out loud, and heartfelt romance about unexpected connections and fresh starts. This one delivers Henry's signature mix of wit, emotional depth, and swoon-worthy romance. Funny Story by Emily Henry.
My next pick is The Stolen Queen by Fiona Davis, fiction. The best-selling author of The Spectacular and The Magnolia Palace has released another great historical novel. We meet two characters, one in Egypt 1936. Young anthropology student Charlotte Cross is making incredible discoveries in the Valley of the Kings. But when tragedy suddenly strikes, her life is completely changed. Another character is in present-day New York, 1978. Annie Jenkins is struggling to find her own path, but then she gets the chance of a lifetime to work for an iconic fashion editor preparing for the glamorous Met Gala. when one of the most valuable artifacts of the Egyptian collection is stolen during the event. Annie and Charlotte, who is now an associate curator at the Met, must work together to recover it. The Stolen Queen by Fiona Davis.
My second book recommendation, We Are Experiencing a Slight Delay, Tips, Tales, and Travels by Gary Janetti, nonfiction. This is a delightful book by the writer and producer of Family Guy and Will and Grace. He shares his experience of a week-long wellness retreat in Italy, where he anticipated, with some element of horror, I might add, chowing down on chickpea frittatas and dandelion tea. On the QE2, he sees the best restaurant on board and takes in the room with hushed reverence, usually reserved for the Louvre. He gives his opinion on staying at a hotel versus staying with friends, and is a fan of packing only hand luggage. He ends the book with 2 treats: favorite hotels, shows, restaurants in cities that he likes, and little gems that he recommends you always do while traveling. We Are Experiencing a Slight Delay by Gary Janetti.
Closing out our second round with another nonfiction title is You Didn't Hear This From Me, Mostly True Notes on Gossip by Kelsey McKinney, nonfiction. Now, I picked this book up specifically because I'm not a personal fan of gossip. At least that's what I believed about myself. And reading this book complicated that for me a little bit, especially when confronted with the question, what even is gossip? How do you define what that is? McKinney explores this idea and human communication more broadly in this really funny and reflective work of narrative nonfiction. Through a combination of memoir, sociology, media analysis, she crafts engrossing essays that connect gossip with topics like AI, art history, religion, politics, reality TV, urban legends, and more. At the end of the day, I'm still not a gossip lover, but I have more nuanced understanding of it than I did before. And this is also just a really, really fun, easy read that is also reflective and educational. So it really is right in that nice middle of what I think creates a great summer read. Whatever your relationship is to gossip, there's something to be gained from reading You Didn't Hear This From Me by Kelsey McKinney. Now, transitioning to something that I emphatically am a lover of, plants, including the identification and foraging and consumption of plants, which is why I lead this class. I am going to be doing this here at Central Branch on Saturday, July 19th, first thing in the morning when we open. In addition to learning about the basics of how to safely and respectfully forage, we will also go outside to walk around and identify plants in the wild, or as wild as you can be here in downtown Columbia, weather permitting, of course. So add that to your calendar if you are interested. Now we are going to continue with our third round of book recommendations.
All right, back to me. My third pick is Docile, Memoirs of a Not So Perfect Asian Girl by Hae Sung Song. I loved the cover of this book so much. I went out and bought it before I even read it. But once I did, I wasn't disappointed, and I think you will love it too. This is Hae Sung Song's debut novel, where Song's childhood emotional wounds are brought to the surface, unpacked, and healed. Song is the daughter of Korean immigrants. She's first generation Korean American, whose father is in heavy pursuit of the American dream, and whose mother regrets the life that she has chosen. Journey along with Song as she details navigating and battling racial stereotypes, her parents' expectations, her peers' expectations, to find her dreams and who she truly is. Docile by Hae Sung Song.
I'd like to dedicate my third pick to our very own Emily Bell and to all the puzzle enthusiasts out there. The Fellowship of Puzzle Makers by Samuel Burr, fiction. Love a good puzzle, do you? Well, what if your entire life was a puzzle? Meet Clayton Stumper, found as a baby with nothing but a cryptic note and raised by a secret British society of puzzle geniuses. Sounds cozy, right? But when Clayton turns 25, his mysterious past decides it's time to be solved. This debut is a heartwarming, brain-tickling mystery packed with eccentric characters, emotional twists, and more riddles than Sherlock Holmes can solve. It's like the Da Vinci Code put the kettle on, got all warm and cozy, and joined a Sudoku club in the Cotswolds. If you like your fiction with clues, codes, and a dash of emotional catharsis, add this one to your TBR pile this summer. The Fellowship of Puzzle Makers by Samuel Burr.
My next pick is Becoming Spectacular by Jennifer Jones, nonfiction. If you love Broadway musicals and kick lines, you'll love this behind-the-scenes intimate memoir. In this book, Jennifer Jones shares her groundbreaking journey starting as a young girl with big dreams to becoming the first African-American rockette in 1987. With candor and grace, she reflects on her childhood as a mixed-race daughter, the challenges of breaking barriers in the world of dance, and the personal triumphs and heartbreaks that shaped her. From the intensity of Radio City rehearsal halls to the intimate struggles of motherhood and a cancer diagnosis, Jones's memoir is a powerful celebration of perseverance and the beauty of forging your own path. It's an inspiring read for anyone who loves musical theater and believes in the power of resilience. Treat yourself and read Becoming Spectacular by Jennifer Jones. And now for a shameless plug, we have started a new book club at East Columbia called Goodreads Book Club. The club meets on the every fourth Friday and from 1 to 2 p.m. And we'd love for you to join us. Our upcoming books are on June 27th, we'll be reading Horse by Geraldine Brooks. In July, we're reading Heaven and Earth Grocery Store by James McBride. And then in August, we will be reading Tomorrow, Tomorrow, and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. Love to see you there.
Okay, my third round pick is American Rapture by C.J. Lead, fiction. Looking for a book to fill that Last of Us shaped hole in your heart? Look no further than American Rapture. It features everything that you love about The Last of Us. Terrifying zombies, an apocalyptic world in disarray, the perseverance of found families, all with an added dash of religious trauma. Sophie is a teen in small-town Wisconsin, raised in an ultra-Catholic household. Unbeknownst to her, there's a virus rapidly spreading throughout the country, one that turns the infected into libidinous fiends. Once the virus reaches her town, Sophie makes it her mission to find her twin brother, who had been sent away to a conversion camp by their parents. So gear up for an action-packed road trip across the American Midwest, filled with horror and heartbreak. If you're squeamish or don't usually read horror, definitely check those content warnings. But even through all the gore, American Rapture is at its core a tender-hearted coming-of-age story. So for every bit of rabid zombie violence, you will find an equally heartwarming moment. American Rapture by C.J. Lead.
My next book is The Blue Hour by Paula Hawkins, fiction. An art exhibit is shut down when there are suspicions that a human bone is used in the sculpture. The curator of the art that belonged to an eccentric artist, Vanessa Chapman, is notified. In order to prevent the sculpture from being destroyed, the curator, James Becker, goes to the late artist's home on an isolated island called Eris to meet with her friend Grace Haswell, who closely guards her secrets. Is one of the secrets what happened to the artist's husband, Julian Chapman, who mysteriously disappeared? If you're a fan of Agatha Christie, then you'll enjoy this mystery from Paula Hawkins. Did Vanessa Chapman include a human bone in her sculpture? Is the bone belonging to her late husband? Read the Blue Hour to find out these questions and more.
The Briar Club by Kate Quinn, fiction. Set in 1950s Washington, D.C., this story centers around Briarwood House, an all-female boarding house, and it begins with a brutal murder on Thanksgiving Day, 1954. The women at Briarwood couldn't be more different. There's an elegant Englishwoman, a police officer's daughter mixed up with a gangster, a former baseball star, and a diehard McCarthy supporter. There's also Grace, a mysterious widow whose weekly attic room dinner parties become a unifying thread, fostering unexpected friendships among the women. With its strong female leads and themes of loyalty, deception, and resilience, this book is perfect for anyone who loves historical fiction with a touch of suspense. The Briar Club by Kate Quinn.
My next pick is The Mango Tree, a memoir of fruit, Florida, and felony by Annabelle Tomatich, nonfiction. I usually don't gravitate towards nonfiction, but I truly enjoyed this book and I'm glad I read it. This honest, heartfelt, funny, and sometimes tragic memoir is about the author's experiences growing up in suburban Fort Myers, Florida, as the eldest mixed-race child of a high-spirited Filipino mother and erratic Caucasian father. Tomatich writes about her functionally dysfunctional family, as well as her own personal journey navigating through life as she tries to find where she belongs. But above all, she writes about her mother and the importance of their complicated relationship, its ups and downs, without whom she would not be the person she is today. The Mango Tree by Annabelle Tomatich. And please join us for Tool Thursday. At Tool Thursday, registrants can learn about the wide variety of power tools that are available for checkout at the Elkridge Branch DIY Center. You will be able to discuss and observe a demonstration of applications, safe use, and accessories that may be needed. It takes place every first Thursday of the month at 7 p.m. This month will be on June 5th, and it will cover miter and table saws.
The Borrowed Life of Frederick Fife by Anna Johnston, fiction. Frederick Fife is 82, a widow, and broke. There's an incident, and a home mistakes him to be one of their residents, Bernard Greer. And so, he ends up having a place to live that has warm meals and a companionship. In effect, living a borrowed life. Bernard was grumpy. Frederick spreads kindness, understanding, and love. The book is quite funny, and the first half has a lot of laugh out loud moments. The second half has more sobering moments, giving insight about why some relationships were the way they are, and, fortunately, the way forward from this fiasco. It is insightful and gives the perspective and views of those living in senior living centers and about the lives of those who work there. I thoroughly enjoyed it. The Borrowed Life of Frederick Fife by Anna Johnston.
My next title is House of Bone and Rain by Gabino Iglesias. 5 Puerto Rican teenagers bonded through years of trauma seek vengeance after one of their mothers is murdered. However, revenge doesn't come easily. The further they get to tracking down the killer, the more violent their lives become. And a powerful drug lord isn't the only threat against them. A potentially devastating hurricane is headed towards the island, and with it, supernatural dark forces. Featuring complex young characters and immersed in folklore, this isn't your average thriller. Iglesias blends together horror and crime fiction with a coming-of-age story. The result? An intense, layered, emotional, and action-packed tale like no other. And not for the faint of heart. Massive content warning for bloody violence and just about every common trigger out there. So definitely check those online on Goodreads or something. And if you can stomach it, you are in for a beautifully dark exploration of friendship, loyalty, and grief. Fans of S.A. Cosby, Stephen Graham Jones, and Sylvia Moreno Garcia, you must add this to your holds list. Your next read should definitely be House of Bone and Rain by Gabino Iglesias. That concludes round 3. We are now going to go into our wild card round. Ooh. Which again means that these recommendations can be from anywhere in our HCLS collection, not just on the summer reading list. Some of them are, and some of them are not.
Hello again. I am bringing you my 4th pick, the wild card, The Guest by B.A. Paris, fiction. You can get this book in our system, but it is not on the summer reading list. I loved this book. If you attended last year, you know that I absolutely love a twisty and turny book, one that would make M. Night Shyamalan proud or maybe even a little jealous. This book is exactly that, and it is full of secrets. The Guest kicks off with a couple, Gabriel and Iris, who just returned from vacation, to find that an old friend has basically just moved into their house. But that's just the beginning. What unfolds is this wild web of lies, betrayals, and suspicious appearances that slowly pull everyone down like quicksand. You are constantly questioning everyone's motives, like who do you actually trust? Spoiler alert, probably no one. It's one of those books that's perfect for a weekend read when you want to escape into a thriller that will absolutely mess with your head. The Guest by B.A. Paris.
Okay, my wild card is Long Island Compromise by Taffy Brodesser Ackner, fiction. What happens when a picture-perfect, nice neighborhood life gets a little kidnapped? Meet the Fletchers. Wealthy, neurotic, self-destructive, greatly traumatized. And that's before the father is abducted from their own driveway. In Long Island Compromise, the American dream gets duct taped, stuffed in a van, and ransomed back to you. But somehow, the cost is even more than before. It's equal parts hilarious, devastating, and deeply Jewish, yet somehow makes existential despair and generational trauma feel kind of warm and fuzzy. Make sure you grab this one for summer and find out if the only way out of a gilded cage is through a really bizarre crime. Long Island Compromise by Taffy Brodesser Ackner.
My final pick is An Unfinished Love Story by Doris Kearns Goodwin, nonfiction. I loved this book. It's part love letter, part historical reflection, and it chronicles the life that Doris Kearns Goodwin shared with her husband, Richard Goodwin, the brilliant White House speechwriter and advisor to both JFK and LBJ. When her husband was first diagnosed with cancer, they decided to finally tackle organizing the hundreds of boxes they had been hauling around for years. And as they revisited Richard's vast archives of letters, memos, and notes, the couple unearthed forgotten moments from the 1960s, shedding light on a decade of political upheaval and personal transformation. Through their shared memories, Doris tells a moving story of their loving partnership, public service, and the enduring hope that America's best days lie ahead. This memoir is a beautiful portrait of a marriage and an intimate journey through one of the most pivotal eras in U.S. history. Treat yourself and pick up An Unfinished Love Story by Doris Kearns Goodwin.
All right, my wild card pick is The Examiner by Janice Hallett, fiction. Drama, infighting, alliances, and secrets. I know what you're thinking, but no, I'm not still talking about reality shows. This twisty mystery takes place during a year-long graduate program where students work towards a degree in multimedia arts. The program requires an external examiner to review the students' work in order to certify their degrees. But there's one slight problem. The examiner is pretty sure one of those 6 students is dead. Readers join the examiner in parsing through text messages, emails, assignments, and more, looking for evidence of foul play. Hallett's non-traditional narrative approach will truly have you feeling like a fly on the wall, eavesdropping on all the drama. None of these students are who they initially seem, which makes Hallett's deftly plotted reveals and twists even more shocking. She's quickly become a must-read author for me because her books feel like an interactive experience, like you're putting together a puzzle. And they are perfect for anybody who wants to play detective. The Examiner by Janice Hallett.
My wild card book is How to Steal a Galaxy by Beth Revis, fiction. Ada is a thief, and Ryan White is the detective determined to catch her. They both end up at a museum on a distant Earth where people are raising money to save the original Earth. At the fundraiser is a billionaire, Stromfetter, who is there to announce he has come up with nanobots that can save Earth. But could the nanobots end up destroying the Earth instead? Is Ava there to steal something from Stromfetter? Is it something at the museum? Beth Revis introduced these characters in the book Full Speed to a Crash Landing. There are references to the crash landing, so it's not necessary to read it first. And if you enjoy this book, there's another book in the series, Last Chance to Save the World. But for a fun crime sci-fi with twists and turns, read How to Steal a Galaxy by Beth Revis.
My wild card is part of this year's list, and it's called Vanishing Creatures, a bestiary of extraordinary endangered creatures by Catherine Rundell, nonfiction. Did you know that more than half of all wildlife has disappeared in the past 50 years? Whether you are an animal lover or not, this book will open your eyes to the wonder of these beautiful, special creatures. It offers a glimpse into the complexity and the beauty of 23 endangered animals, both ordinary and extraordinary. From the 300 pygmy raccoons to the spruce fir moss spider dependent on a vanishing tree, it reminds us that no creature is too small to matter. From giraffes picking their noses with their tongues to the astonishing possibility that golden moles are bioluminescent, there is a whimsical, almost playful tone to some of Rundell's observations, making the book both educational and surprisingly delightful. It truly is a love letter to our natural world. Vanishing Creatures by Catherine Rundell.
My wildcard pick is Before the Coffee Gets Cold by Toshikazu Kawaguchi, fiction. If you are in the mood for a cozy, gentle, feel-good read, this is the perfect book. I highly recommend it. It's the first in a series by a Japanese playwright, but can be read as a standalone. This story is about a small, unassuming Tokyo cafe with the extraordinary ability to send people back in time, but only for as long as it takes a cup of coffee to get cold. We follow 4 hopeful individuals who embark on this magical journey to see lost loved ones, confront past regrets, but they ultimately learn that even though the present cannot be changed, their hearts can. Before the Coffee Gets Cold by Toshikazu Kawaguchi.
My wild card is Haben, the deaf-blind woman who conquered Harvard Law, a memoir by Haben Girma, nonfiction. And this is not on this year's adult list. As a preteen, Haben can see indistinct outlines of people. That image has been fading each year. By the time she entered Harvard, her low-frequency hearing had vanished completely, and her high-frequency hearing was very limited. The book chronicles Haben's life, from visits as a child to Ethiopia and Eritrea, to her visit to the White House in 2015 following an ADA win in the courts. She outlines her middle and high school years in California, then her move to college in Oregon, and finally Harvard Law School in Massachusetts. As a teenager, she went to Mali to help build a school. After college, she climbed an iceberg, and she also improved her blindness skills by improving her cane and braille skills. And she also partnered with a guide dog prior to preparing for the LSAT. Haben, the deaf-blind woman who conquered Harvard Law by Haben Girma.
And for our final recommendation of the evening, drumroll. My pick is not on the list because it is quite new. It is The Dark Maestro by Brendan Slocum, fiction. Curtis Wilson is a virtuoso. From the age of 5, he pursued his love for classical music with such dedication that it propelled him out of the projects of Southeast DC and into the most prestigious concert halls. Throughout his childhood, he mentally escaped the turbulent home life by reading comic books and practicing cello. On the night of his greatest achievement, soloing with the New York Philharmonic, his life and career are completely derailed when FBI agents appear backstage to escort him into protective custody. Why? Where do they take him? What happens next? You'll have to read to find out. On first glance, The Dark Maestro might seem similar to Slocum's prior novels, mystery with a classical music aspect like The Violin Conspiracy. However, this one is a stylistic departure from his two previous releases, and he has said that this is his most personal work to date. Excluding the prologue, the first third of the book follows Curtis and his family during his school years and childhood, eventually leading up to the circumstances that land them all in witness protection. Only then does the novel start to feel like a thriller, and eventually stretches into the realm of vigilante justice with a heavy influence from superhero comics. Because of that, I particularly think of Gerard Way's The Umbrella Academy, as well as the works of Alex Segura. But anyone who's willing to suspend their disbelief for the sake of a really enjoyable, unique read will enjoy The Dark Maestro. If you're interested in genre-blending crime fiction with plenty of plot and heart, check out The Dark Maestro by Brendan Slocum. That concludes our recommendations for the evening. We hope to have bulked up your TBR list and motivated you to participate in our Adult Summer Reading Challenge this year. If you have any questions about books, classes, and events, or any other library resources, please submit them through the Q&A, leave a comment in the chat if you. We have just a few minutes to answer any outstanding things, and thank you again for spending your evening with us.
We had one question where Kathy was asking, out of all the books that you've recommended, which one is your favorite? And she addressed that to everybody who presented today.
Well, we have 2 minutes, so I'll quickly say that my favorite was The Borrowed Life of Frederick Fife. That was my favorite book of the 4 that I presented.
My favorite was The Guest by B.A. Paris. Awesome book.
I'm a fan of historical fiction with strong female leads, so my favorite was The Briar Club.
I'd say for me, it was Our Evenings.
My favorite was the Hugh the Sun, the reality TV nonfiction.
My favorite was The Mango Tree.
Oh, someone asked, where was the first branch of Howard County Library?
And that
That's
is
a
an
fun
answer
trivia
all of us
question.
should know.
We should know that.
I can actually answer that question. Howard County Library System started as a very small, tiny branch. They actually, a small women's coalition took over a school to start a library. So that is technically its origins. I think that was in Ellicott City. So yeah, and then it moved around a little bit, but it started very, very small.
Yes, I watched the video, and Ellicott City was where it started. Yes.
There's another question that for the summer reading, apart from the booklet, which we can get at the library, is there any other way to sign up?
Oh, yes. Great question. We are saying goodbye to Read Squared if you participated previously online. And we are saying hello to Storygraph. So you can find out more information about that on our website on the summer reading page. But the challenges that are in the journal are also mirrored in Storygraph. It is fantastic. It's user-friendly. They have some great graphics on there. So check that out.
To clarify, you don't need to do both online and the book. It's up to you.
Yeah.
Which one you prefer to engage with.
And you can just fill in the finisher prize after you finished reading 10 books or completing 10 challenges and submit that at the library. Oh, you don't submit the booklet, Jay. After you've completed the task, there is a separate card that you fill in. It's a finisher card, and you can keep your booklet with you and continue to work on it.
Someone,
we encourage you to keep using it even after you complete the 3 that is needed for the challenge.
someone asked the question, oh there, I read it, it's kind of gone. Let me see if I can find it. Sorry about that. Oh, someone said they missed the first few minutes and they wanted to know how they can catch them. This presentation will be on the HCLS YouTube channel. So you would search for the 2025 Adult Summer Reading Showcase, and it will be there live in about, let's say, 1 to 2 weeks, 3 weeks in the maximum. It'll be up. So you could watch the whole thing over if you wanted to.
And I think we'll send out the link to everybody who registered too, in case people couldn't make it.
Yes.
There's a
Once
question.
it's uploaded.
When do we submit the finisher card and where?
So you can finish at any time until the end of August. So you have until August 31st to finish your summer reading challenge. You can participate multiple times if you go through all 14 pages. You would come into a physical branch, any one of our 6 branches, to let us know that you finished, to complete your finisher card, and then be entered into the drawing.
Thank you, Stevia. And if there's any more last questions?
Rohini, I saw a question earlier about and I gotta find it. It's in here. Other than large print materials, any other way for folks who may have some reading it. Here we go. For those who have difficulty reading regular print, in addition to large print books, are there any additional resources?
So who's gonna take that question? There.
Yes. So there is the Maryland Library for the Blind and Print Disabled. And here at the Central Branch, we do have a few flyers out and sign-up sheets if someone wants to come in and get resources from them. They also have a website. So that is the Maryland Library for the Blind and Print Disabled.
Lots of resources that we can recommend to you, but we also have, Dawn put in the chat, audiobooks on Libby, a fantastic way to engage with material. We also have playaways and audiobooks on CD. So lots of different ways to engage with our materials.
And ebooks have the option of increasing the print size to make it more accessible. That is another option.
And audiobooks and graphic novels all count as reading. So feel free, if that's what you like to read, you can find a way to select those sort of materials in the different themes among the summer reading challenges.
Well, and now to wrap up today's evening, what an incredible kickoff to Summer Reading 2025. Thank you so much for joining us today. We hope you're leaving inspired with a list full of exciting reads and all the tools you need to dive into the summer readings adventure. If you have any questions or need help along the way, we're always here for you. Happy reading and have a fantastic summer. And thank you to the incredible team here.